Oh. Okay, let's see if I remember how to actually access this mode. Get rid of that one. Is it just you put in Maxim, right? Oh, you do? Oh. I held the button down. Make sure it wasn't my turbo. Oh. What a goob. Okay. M-A-X-I-M. Maxim. It is looking... Oh, okay, look at that. Oh, shit. What? Oh, he doesn't have a crouch attack. Can I super jump? What the fuck? Whoa. Oh, he's weird. He plays really weird. What the heck? Okay, well, can I get up there at least? You gotta, like... Okay, so the double jump costs MP. Or rather, the weird, like... That. Oh my god. He does so much damage. Wait. Does he? These enemies seem to take a while to kill now. What the fuck? Okay, well, like, I don't know if I can even do anything with the money. Can I switch somewhere? Is that all I have? I even have spells? Do I have special moves? I got the slide. Dude, there's no like, Oh, I'm like Chip. I have 3 jumps. Okay. Dude, his dash is so much faster than Yusuke's, I think. Am I wrong? Crouching kick seems to do a lot. Can I charge? No. Maxim does at least have a special aid too. Yeah, I imagine he has to, right? His walk speed is crazy. What the hell? What in the world? He's so fast. Can he level up at all, or no? I have to assume not. Oh! That's cool. How did I do that? Okay, I think I got it. I think that's back, half circle back. That's really goofy. I do have it though. Oh my god, he's so fast. I'm kind of sad he doesn't have the super jump though. He does feel pretty fucking broken though. I will say this, Maxim does seem very overpowered, which is good, you know? That's what you want out of him, right? Whenever you're playing these post-game modes, you don't want to play like a sissy-ass character, you want them to be really good. can't wall jump though, which is a bit of a shame. It's a healing move that consumes heart. Do you know the motions for any of these offhand? Oh! Well, that's helpful. 50 hearts. Interesting. What? Did they increase the enemy HP, by the way? I don't remember those spear guys having more than just a little bit of health. Strange. Oh yeah, there's no items at all around here. That makes sense. I don't know if I should just go straight to the end or actually, like, do the game. Because I think you can just get to the place, right? Like, it should just let you go there. I don't think the boss fights were that interesting in this game, were they? Tonight's stream is going to be pretty short because I started late. Regrettably. I did not want to start so late. It just slipped my mind and I got preoccupied. But that's okay. You know, I can do this. I could probably beat Maxim Mode and get started on something else. Okay, he can pick those up. That's good. Ow. Yeah, okay, I got that one figured out. Oh, I know how fast you can actually beat this mode. It's like in like 5 seconds almost. Oh! Oh, we have full access? Oh no, I thought it was warping me somewhere else. Yeah, I can't imitate the task, unfortunately. I'm also thinking of playing Bloodstained again, because it's had a lot of content updates, and a bunch of people are telling me that Bloodstained is basically a Metroidvania game. I mean, it is, but I don't consider it part of the Castlevania franchise. Even though, like, it's a successor to these games, and it's very good. I also wouldn't call it, you know... Oh, I need 50 hearts. I mean, listen, I will play it, but I don't know when. I might do the post-game modes for these before I do Bloodstained. I think that would be more fair, you know? No, people are misreading. I want to do it, but I also don't, like, I'm not in any rush, you know? Because I swear I streamed it before, but... Yo, that heals you all the way, god. That's actually really good. That would have been nice to have in Circle of the Moon. Yeah, I streamed it like right back when it was new. But you know, times have changed. I don't think I've gotten like that much better at these games, but... Oh my god, he can cancel his dash right away, what the heck? Oh yeah, because they added a bunch of other characters, huh? There's like playable Dominique and stuff, right? God, well I mean that one's gonna have a lot of post-game modes. Did they change the base game stuff at all? There's fucking any boss fights? I could have sworn there. Oh, there's one over here. I want to see how fast these boss fights go. This weapon seems pretty good. Ooh, he got cooked! Yeah, so Maxim just seems like pretty broken. Which, you know, makes sense. It's Maxim. I never really tried to kill this guy, so I have no idea just how difficult this boss fight. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I actually did. Maybe I just don't remember then. Dude, these bone pillars did not have that much HP when I played, did they? There's no fucking way. And the classic Castlevania mode in Bloodstained actually intrigues me the most. Because I assume they had to make like brand new levels for that. Which, to me, is pretty cool. Because I do like these games, but I am a much bigger fan of the 2D side-scrollers that are, like, linear. Like, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of these games, but I think, they don't have, like, the thrill of, like, the design of a traditional 2D Vania for me. Oh my god, where's the save room? They don't have the footsie skeleton. They kind of do these games, but like not to that level, yeah. Oh, fucking, of course. Am I accidentally going to a boss fight? I think there's one over here, isn't there? There is. Alright. Alright, let's see if I remember the fastest way up to the castle treasury. I'm gonna go ahead and beat the boss. I don't think I'm gonna get much out of the game. I think it's up, right? save polygon isn't the same when it's just a sprite. Yeah, it really isn't. It doesn't hit the same way. I know I did all bosses in Richter mode, but... Oh, you have to beat them? What the fuck? Are you sure? That seems weirdly prohibitive. I mean, that would explain why they have to do the clip in the task, but I don't know if they... Again, I've never actually... Prior to me beating it for this stream series, I've never actually beaten this game, so I have no idea if Maxim Mode is like that. Because I've never actually played Maxim Mode at all. I hate this motherfucker's ugly-ass outline, though. I'm almost tempted to just get a palette hack really quick. Because there do exist hacks that make this game look a little less Game Boy Advance colorized. And by a little, I mean like a lot. Oh man, see, now I'm remembering this game. So many areas in this game look really similar. I remember having that as a pretty big problem. A pretty big con, I would say, of this game. Does the life max up actually do stuff? I assume it does, just like in Richter mode. I know it's not dire in this game the way it is in, Circle of the Moon, where there's not even a post-game mode that involves another playable character. Hugh Baldwin has to be, like, the most unfortunate guy, because, he just don't get a mode. And he's still like a boss fight in the game, too, with a bunch of frames and everything. They were just like, yeah, magician mode, fighter mode, thief mode. Oh, let's see if I can go in here. I will say, this castle's a little less bad to navigate when you have everything available from the jump. It's up over there, I guess. Not having to have keys to unlock the warp room is pretty handy. I definitely won't be complaining about that anytime soon. Because eventually, at the end of this, I'm going to do a tier list of all the games, because, you know, that's engagement. But the other thing I want to do is I want to rate the post-game modes separately, because I think these are actually different enough from the base game. I guess it's not open. Do you have to go there in Castle B, maybe? Let's see. Because I know in Castle A it only opened up if you got all the, or in Castle B... No, maybe not. Hold on. We're gonna find out if we have to do all bosses. If we do, that's fine. I just have to go fucking remember where they were. But... Does that mean I have to refight Maxim? Is it like... Or like, do I have to fight the Shadow? with this guy. Hey, Sleep Mode, what's up? Or should I say, Cliff Player. Sleep Mode. Did you take the combo routing advice I gave you, by the way? If you're struggling with the post-stun combo, the meterless one, always do 2k instead of 5k. It'll automate the timing. And really, that's all you want. You just want consistency. Like, you lose out on 3 damage. Well, IDJD, yeah, the trick to that one is just doing it fast. You wanna do the JD pretty quickly. So you get the fastball. And the only hard part after that is getting the TK. Because for certain characters, you really do have to get the TK pretty low. Otherwise, you'll get kind of a bad drill connect, or it won't hit at all. It really depends on the character. Oh my god. Because I know the TK drill routing. Hoss? Yeah, he's pretty good. I've been trying him too, but I'm very bad at understanding how his specials work, which is probably uniquely a me problem, because I think from what I am told, every other person that picks up Hoss cannot stop doing special moves, but I'm really bad at like managing charge and doing all that at the moment. And I've been fucking with ABBA, because I think that's funny. I think the idea of me playing ABBA is hilarious. I think there's something really fucking evil about that. Somebody with my patience, the way I play Cliff on ABBA is... it's a fucking horrible thought, and that's kind of why I want to entertain it. I can! That's exactly why I'm doing it. For fun though, mostly. I haven't like hard grinded the character at all yet. My combos are so fucking awful. You have no idea. My problem is every ABBA combo feels fucking weird. I don't understand yet. I'm pretty sure the idea is that you want to go into as many orbs as possible when you're installed, but my god does it feel weird. And like trying to route into butt is like, okay. Her buttons feel really heavy to me. Not bad, just very heavy. Like I just get the impression that like I can't really do anything super crazy until I'm in Goku mode, but then Goku mode's combos feel insane. I don't understand what I need to do there. I can really only do stuff in Moroha and normal mode at the moment. Oh, her Rekka inputs are fucking awful. I hate that shit so much. I mean, it's not even that it's hard to input, it's hard to fucking remember that it's like that. For reasons that are like... I don't know, to be honest. Like, who the fuck thought 236, 46, 63214? Is that what it is? I don't remember if it's half cycle forward or half cycle backward. Anyways, if this doesn't sound like a very sane way to input a Rekka, it's because it isn't. So there's this guy in the Plus I Discord. His name is like Erebus or Leon or whatever. And we joke that like there's a timeline where he played Cliff and I played ABBA and like we came to the same conclusions anyway. But it's probably true. I mean, the timeline where I didn't play Cliff kind of almost happened. Yeah, because Robo-Kai was definitely not doing it. And like, I certainly wasn't gonna fucking like Soul. Dude, Soul feels so fucking whack, dude. Can I be honest? XX Soul doesn't feel like he should even work. It's the same feeling I get when I play against or like fight May, where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, when I fight May, I genuinely think that character is not very good. And also, like, when you find, like, the one or two things that your character just has to do against May, and you don't get hit by any of the knowledge checks, I genuinely don't know. Like, I think she just fundamentally has to bamboozle me for me to ever care. But, like, I haven't been bamboozled by May. Kadako just played really good. Like, Kadako is an extremely good player, because I don't think that character is very great. But it reminds me of Soul, where it's a similar problem. Where, like, I just don't think Soul is actually that good of a character. I just think he does a lot of damage, so you can win. I mean, fundamentally, Soul's concept feels kind of like that to me. I think Xrd Soul feels more congruent, but, like, I don't know. I think, Plus R is a really complex game, though. So what I'm saying is probably only half true, and it really probably only applies because that's my understanding of the game. Because I do think that, like, even though, like, I say a character is not very good, I still think they're pretty good in Plus R. Like, May is still a perfectly fine character. Kai is okay! I don't get this narrative. I think people are just... I think American players just fucking blow dick at the game. And they talk about how terrible Kai is because, like, all they know how to do is hold forward. And that's also why I think Cliff is kind of popular in North America. Let me be real. Because you can get pretty far on Cliff by just doing that. Oh my god. Kinda sucking is... No, listen. I'm talking about North America. Let me cook, please. This is my region, but I do not have a lot of pride for a lot of player opinions. I do not feel particularly patriotic about, like, the average North American player's opinion on how good Kai is. Because I think it's wrong. Even though I don't think that character is amazing, I think he's perfectly adequate. There are, like, two characters in Plus R that I think are, like... kind of ridiculous. So, well, not ridiculous, but, like, they're kind of, like, really hard to do much with. And I think that's still a relative statement. But I think Bridget and Eddie are both very low return for very high effort. And unless you're willing to go through that, I would not recommend them. Am I gonna keep doing Frosties? I'm gonna try. I mean, Kai is not a really bad character. I don't think Eddie is really that bad, but I think he's not great. I don't know how to put it. Eddie can be really devastating, but it takes a lot to get him there. And it's still not, like, as fucked up as some other characters. Bridget, I think... Bridget just got kind of nerfed every game. And now we're here. Like, I can't think of a more nerfed character besides maybe Eddie. And Eddie really... I think think Robo is like barely real. I think he is like the Verge. And I think the only reason is because sometimes he can just win. But, you know, it doesn't happen a lot. But it can happen enough. You only need to get it a couple times. The real problem with Robo-Kai is that I can't think of a relevant character that he does well against. Like, not well in the sense that he can't fight them, but well in the sense that he actually wins the match. Like, I think the closest thing he has to, like, a character that he really, like, has any kind of real control over or against is, like, Anji. Well, you can, but I think it's also good to understand that, like, you will face difficulties with certain characters. Because if you don't, you'll end up in the position I was in, where I went in thinking that, and I ended up really thinking the game sucked balls, because I played Robo-Kai. And I did not go into Robo-Kai with the realistic expectations. And I think if I had more realistic expectations, there's a chance I would have kept playing. Really. I wasn't ready for all the esoterics of the game, and I certainly wasn't ready to play that character in his state. But getting told it was like the most balanced thing ever, and that like you can win with anybody. While that is not untrue, I think a lot of people did not emphasize that it can still be more difficult. And it definitely... I think Potemkin is kind of a struggle character, to be honest. Nobody wants to say this, but I believe it. Not because my character, like, does anything, but I think, like, there are 3 or 4 matches with Potemkin that I don't see a realistic endgame for. And that is something that even, that is something even Robo-Kai doesn't have. Which is, like, this situation where, No, it's not about Australia being a bad region. I just think that, like... Like, there are characters that just shut him down fundamentally. And I don't think he has anything he can do about that. Like... Oh, you have a lot of pots? Well, he's not, like, a bad character. Testament, Faust, Pot. Okay, so Testament and Faust are not great matchups for that character. I'll say that. I do think they're not impossibly bad, though. I think, when you start running into issues as Pot is when you're fighting characters like Dizzy, Milia, Zappa. And these are not uncommon. Dizzy especially is not an uncommon character. Oh yeah, I see that one Dizzy player in the Dizzy channel. I fucking forget his tag. But once he gets really good, every Potemkin player is gonna start mysteriously yelling his name in English. And I'll let you figure out why. That matchup sucks. The only saving grace of that matchup is that Potemkin can hit Dizzy sometimes. And if that happens, he might win. If it doesn't, though, you're fucked. Goodbye. Like, you just can't do anything. Your neutral game is almost entirely irrelevant. You can't stop her from summoning fish very easily. Which is really bad, because that armor is one hit, and most of your moves are one hit. You can't air throw J2S. Not that it matters, because like her pressure fucks you up anyways. So my problem with Dizzy is that I think like it never changes no matter how long you play her. I don't like the fact that she's basically half a character without the fish out. So if you're ever playing a matchup where the neutral game is pretty dynamic, which is a lot of them really, and you can't get the fish out, you have to just kind of accept that you're playing, like, a character with, like, half the effectiveness of any other character at face value, in my opinion. It's not like Milia, where, you're really fragile, but, like, you have movement. With Dizzy, you're a really big target, you have pretty good movement, but like your buttons don't really out-button anybody outside of like 2K. And like playing around that is just like being in the air, so it's kind of tough. I don't think Dizzy's bad at all. I think that character is very unquestionably top tier. But I also think that like the reason she's top tier is not really because she's a super stable character. I think it's just because she can run fucked up one-player Oki when she does hit you. Like, that's the real thing. Whereas Milia, like, her Okazemi is still really strong. It's, like, barely worse. But it's worse in enough ways that matter. However, Milia has, like, a much more stable neutral game plan. And I think that's why Milia is a better character than Dizzy. In my opinion. If you asked me about character strength, I would say Milia is a better character. What else? Yeah, so that's kind of the reasons why I think Potemkin and Plus R kind of doesn't have like a lot of luster to me anymore. I just think like too many of the matchups that give him a hard time are really common in bracket. And like it's very easy to have like a run where you're basically bricked, unless the other player fucks up horribly. Like, I don't feel that way playing Cliff, for instance. Like, I don't think Cliff has any matchups that approach that realm at all. And that's what I think really makes a character good in Plus R, is how much you can avoid situations like that where you look at your bracket and go, I'm fucked. I don't feel that way when I'm playing Cliff. But that could also just be like the years of character practice. I don't know. I can't say it's one size fits all. But I don't feel particularly helpless in any matchup as Cliff. Usually the worst that happens as Cliff is that I have to use different tools in different ways. But I don't really lack the ones that I need. Also, hi Als, what's up? Oh, Venom I think is just a really flawed character. But I actually think Venom is really only flawed because 6P doesn't Gatling into 6H. Everything else is, like, good. But I think that's a really big problem. I think the fact that jumping against Venom is very low risk is, really bad when you're trying to control their movement. Also why I don't like characters like Soul unless I'm playing Cliff. Because I feel like Soul Bad Guy is another one of those characters where I actually can't say that unless you're playing like a character like Testament or somebody that does crazy damage, that you can actually discourage Soul Bad Guy from mashing like an idiot. I mean, even if it's not, right? You consider the rewards you get for punishing them and how you can really discourage them. And it's like, well, I can't. So I think AC Venom 6P was like far too idiotic as a button to be allowed to exist. But I think what they did to the Gatlings was unacceptable. Like, I think the button being what it is in Plus R is actually perfectly fine. I think Venom 6P in Plus R is a pretty good button. I think the problem is that the Gatlings from it are not very good. If you had a reason to care about 6P at all, because it Gatlinged into 6H and he got, like, damage and a knockdown, people would not be jumping at Venom recklessly. They'd probably be pretty scared. But you don't get that. But like Soul and Eva, right? The only way you're gonna get them to even care is like by cranking the guard bar. And getting Soul Bad Guy to block anything in any version of Guilty Gear that's not named Strive is like, yeah, good luck. Like, you are either safe jumping this motherfucker or you're doing like pressure that he can't DP you out of, period. Because the thing about Soul Bad Guy is that I don't think a lot of characters can actually meaningfully discourage him from just doing that. Because, like, the risk of him sending it is far less than the risk of it hitting. But I think the problem of Venom 6P is strictly the Gatlings. Because AC 6P was not only, like, a fucked up move, it also had, like, fucked up Gatlings, so it kind of just did everything. And obviously they wanted to avoid that. Which makes sense, because, like, you obviously don't want it to be, like, this fucking cracked, broken, dumbass button on your zoner. Because it's like, well, like... You want to encourage a wide variety of game state interactions. But, when you don't allow any reward from it, or at least any meaningful reward, you run into the issue of, like, well, why wouldn't I just jump at him? And unless you're playing a really fragile character like Milia or something, that's a part of why I don't like Anji Soul. And why I think Anji, for a long time, a lot of Anji players are like, yeah, Mei is one of his worst matchups, but I actually think Mei is quite simple. Not good, but I sincerely do not think that even if they play it really well, that it's that bad. Because when I'm playing Anji, the only matchups that I feel are really truly terrible are the ones where I cannot get my opponent to block more than like one move in a block string. And Soul Bad Guy is one of them. Mei? Once you hit Mei, even if it's tough as Anji, you can get her to block. But Soul? Soul Bad Guy, who's just gonna press 2D and go under like 80% of my buttons as Anji? My only recourse in that matchup was that like a lot of Soul players just kill themselves. But then I fight any good ones and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do. It feels horrible. It truly feels worse than Anji Mei. To me, anyways. From my time playing Anji. I was actually recommended XR Venom by somebody. Maybe I'd like that character. Because, like, I'm a lab person. I really do love labbing. I actually don't mind Anji Haas, as funny as Gunblaze doing that is. I think it's annoying. But I actually think Haas DP doesn't have, like, completely fucked startup. So I can actually get Haas to block moves. Which is really important. The fact that Haas actually has to block, like, 2 normals from Anji actually matters a lot. I want you to imagine if you were playing as Haas in the Anji matchup, except you didn't have to block. And that's the Soul matchup. Wait, there's a fucking passage up here? What? Well, I didn't remember that. But Gunblaze is probably the most annoying move for Anji to deal with, though, I do agree. I think that is by far the most annoying shit, because you can't 2S it, you have to 2K. But everything else isn't so bad. The other thing about Haas is that as Anji, when Haas hits me, he does pretty respectable damage. But he doesn't do, like, Soul Bad Guy damage. Whereas Soul Bad Guy, I actually can't think of any reason why he wouldn't just mash like a dumb fuck against Anji. Because any amount of damage I can do to him, he will do, like, way more if he hits me with, like, any of his buttons on a bar. Like, the discouragement factor doesn't feel there. And that's part of why I think Soul players really hate fighting Cliff, because it's one of the only matchups in the game where they can't do that and out-risk reward me. Adversely, though, I think Cliff can get away with that against Soul, which is kind of funny. At least compared to what you can do to him sometimes. But I sincerely think that beyond Cliff being like hard for Soul to hit, I think the reason they hate that matchup so much is that they've run into a character where like the mashing gets them fucking killed. Genuinely, they will die instantly. The only other character that does that is Potemkin. And, you know, if you ask any Soul player what they think of the pot matchup, you'll also get a similar answer. So I think there's a pattern. I love my Soul players, though. They're great people. I just also think that character against Anji should always just mash 2D anyways. Doesn't really matter. You get counter hit like 30 times, you're right once, and you do about as much damage as Anji would in 3 guesses. It's like, why wouldn't you do it? What else? Yeah, like, the worst matchups I play with Cliff, in my opinion, are like Axel and Justice. I don't think they're that bad, really. The only Axel I feel really helpless against is O2, but I also think that that is, like, absolutely a skill difference. More than it has anything to do with, like, that matchup being that bad. Like, other Axel players are very good and give me a hard time, but, like, O2 is the one that I, like, just straight up genuinely struggle with. But I also think that that is, like, entirely because that guy's cracked. More than it is, like, oh, Axel Cliff is, like, unplayable. The matchup that I don't think is that hard for Cliff that a lot of other Cliff players seem to think is pretty tough is Dizzy, although Hano has come around on that one too. And that one's another one of those matchups where like the risk-reward just never feels like it's out of my favor. Like Dizzy might be able to punish some things really hard, but a majority of it is like, you shouldn't be sending those things in neutral to begin with. Unless you're, like, reacting. I don't know, I've just never had trouble in that match. Beyond, like, the other player being better than me. Yeah, Plus R is good. Very fun game. Very cursed game, though. Very, very cursed game. Oh, I won't hold you on that one. I definitely think Plus R is a very cursed game. You definitely have to go into Plus R with, like, the mindset that you're gonna kind of accept how it turns out. Kind of just a shit-flinging simulator. I don't think there's a lot of organization in it. And I think like a majority of that game kind of exists in a perpetual state of scramble. Which is why my character is good. No, but maybe one day I'll think Cliff is ass, I don't know. Maybe people will just react to absolutely everything and always perfectly throw me or do this or that. But my response to that idea has always been just like, Cliff doesn't really have to do any of like the IAD stuff to even win. He just kind of win off of poking. Like, I've won entire rounds against really good players as Cliff by just, like, anti-airing them twice. It's like, I don't even think he's particularly reliant on that stuff. Oh, it's that and the game doesn't have a buffer. So even when people are reacting really well, they're not reacting perfectly every time. And if you make a mistake against Cliff, you just lose. Put pretty flatly. I think that's like without negotiation. Just pretty true. But I just find Cliff very fun, and that's why I still play. Innovating that character has been incredibly cool. I don't think I've ever done that, really, in any other fighting game. At least not to the level I have with Cliff. It feels so much more refined on Cliff than it does anywhere else. I definitely don't think I'll ever forget, this year's Frosties. I think that was the most fun I've had at an offline event ever. Master-slave dialectic. You want to run that by me on who that is? Is that a philosopher? Or like a writer, a sociologist writer of some kind? My god, pardon me if I'm ignorant to this. Can you give me like a TLDR on it? I might remember what it was. There's a chance I haven't been in classes in forever, and I'll be honest. No matter how smart I sound, I don't do a lot of reading. I need to do more of it. Like honestly, my ass should have been reading books all day today. But the fuck do you mean the save room doesn't cure that? Oh, okay. Yeah, the thing about Cliff is that, even when I don't win, I'm having a good time. Usually something just fucking stupid happens when I'm playing Cliff. And I also think Cliff privilege is a very real thing. People don't talk about it. People don't talk about it even though it exists very clearly. But like, I always make like mental notes of things that as Cliff, I'm just never thinking about. And then I look at like other people playing the matchup, and I'm like, wow. Like, here's a good one. Hold on. Jam 5P, right? Everybody here knows about Jam 5P, right? It's a 3-framer, you know, it's a pressure reset thing. You can do pressure with it. Hold on, here we go. The dialectic states, oh my god, that humans are incapable of understanding each other and yet seek validation from each other, and this is achieved by performing works. The master gets a slate to perform works, and the slave is the one who receives the recognition for those works. Even though the master is in the position of power in some respect, the slave has the power in the relationship because they are recognized for their works. Oh, that's funny as fuck. That's fucking real. But yeah, like, Cliff Privilege to talk about this. Because I just need to. I feel like it's... Like, Jam 5P, right? You know, it's a pretty good pressure reset tool, and you can even, like, do stuff with it because, you know, it whiffs on a lot of characters crouching, but it'll hit them standing. And, you know, they're gonna be stand blocking because they're worried about Gekirin and, like, IAD resets, right? Jam 5P literally never hits Cliff on the ground. Like, it just cannot. Standing, crouching, you name it. It will not hit him. Ever. You know how Haas has JS? You know, it's a really good cross-up button. Haas jumping slash also never hits crouching Cliff. Ever. Even when he crouch blocks and gets a little larger, it will never hit him. It misses by 1 pixel. Quite literally, I have looked. Soul JH whiffs on crouching Cliff. And this is all stuff you really don't figure out until you've played other characters and then you play Cliff and you're like, whoa. I was never even thinking about that shit. I think that's why Cliff is so fun to play. That's part of what makes him so entertaining. Because it's like... you can focus on different things in the match. And you can enjoy having, like, really fucked up anti-airs, because that's also what Cliff has. But I do think he has pretty pronounced weaknesses as well. Which is why I don't think he's a top tier character. Or, well, maybe he is, I don't know. But I think that there are things you have to be really careful of with him. But a lot of it is just, like, common sense stuff, like anti-air goods, don't use your dodge really predictably. Which, I know it's really hard because dodge is such a good, like, move on paper. But, like, it is really good when used sparingly. The only other times I would say to spam dodge is when you have, like, 50 meter, because if you RC it, it's just plus. Either that's pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. And I think his ability to jump out of pressure is kind of bad. Not because he can't, but because it's very floaty. So you have to pick your jump outs really well, and you have to pay really close attention to when you're going to escape. Because if you can't dodge and chop out, you do have to guess a little bit. But on the other hand, you're really good at checking people for trying to jump out of your pressure. And you also have just really fucking big buttons, and you can anti-air people from a mile away. Cliff Close Slash is really fucked up. That's a button. Oh, the dash is really good too. Understanding that as Cliff, you can dash under stuff. And you probably should more than, like, you might think. Learning that Cliff's dash is the exact same as Faust crawling, in terms of low profile, changed a lot for that character for me. Like, it is to the pixel the exact same. If you ever thought crawling Faust was really fucking annoying to hit, well, you can be the crawling Faust. Not endlessly like he can, but you get to use it more offensively because Cliff's dash lets you do stuff out of it. If anything, you can look at Cliff as like better Johnny in a lot of ways. But Johnny's another character that has like a fucking Justice League of down players, and I think that character is like fine. I don't think he's good, but I think he's fine. But like he has like the fucking round table of people that talk about how ass he is, and they just fucking press 5K and it beats like 80% of whatever you're trying to do on the ground. I'm like, yeah, it's got to be terrible having that button. But I'm gonna blame Xrd for the Johnny players did not know what it was like to actually struggle in that game, so. But yeah, the thing about Cliff though that made it worth playing the game for me was just that I always thought he was always fun. And I think when I'm in a good mood, no matter how the match goes, when I'm playing Cliff, I'm having a good time. And that to me matters more than like winning or playing a super strong character. But then it turns out Cliff is pretty strong, which is cool. But it was never about that for me when I started playing him. And I think that matters a lot. Perspective is really important when you're learning plus R. Because, like, frankly, you're just gonna get hoed by the game a lot. There's no real gentle way of me putting it. It's like, for me, if I'm gonna get hoed, I'm gonna do it on my terms and with a character I find really fun. Because I remember back when I was starting to get back into the game with Cliff, as per your advice, Sleep Mode, I remember talking to people about it, and they're like, why don't you just play Mei, because she's just better. And I was like, well, I don't want to play Mei. If I wanted to play Mei, I'd pick Mei. I like how Cliff feels. It's what I find fun. I find it rewarding and fun. And then I learned a lot. And I kept learning. And then I learned that 6P routing is actually pretty good. And then it turned out 6P taunt routing is actually pretty good, and I put Kadako in a fucking gapless high-low 50-50. Where Cliff is like plus 70. It's like, well... I think the coolest thing about those 6P taunt setups, too, that I found is that I don't think anybody else was doing them. Like, I genuinely think that is a new thing. I never saw it in any combo videos, I never saw it in any VODs I watched. But I also do a lot of what people call difficult Cliff combos, I guess. And I think executionally Cliff is not that demanding, but I do think he demands a really rigorous timing. The thing that you're kind of accepting when you're playing Cliff is that you're going to be doing combos with really weird delays and really odd links. And if you're like super okay with that, then you'll be well and good and right at home. But if you're coming from almost any other character, his execution is quite weird. Oh hey Hano, speaking of Cliff, we were just talking about plus R stuff. How you doing? I was talking about how it was really important for me to enjoy the game while learning it. And like actually enjoy the game, not like just say I like it, but only like it because I hit like one cool thing in a match, and then everything else I hate. Because that was a really big problem with me in Plus R when I wasn't playing Cliff. Oh. I do not think the game is very rewarding if you don't find it fulfilling to just play it on its own. Like, I think it is very bad at incentivizing that, compared to other fighting games even. Well, the thing too, Hano, is that I think it's easier to find that in other games and still be fine. Like, if you only enjoyed winning and you played Street Fighter 6 or Strive, I think you'd be fine. Like, I truly believe that. But I only believe that because those games don't exist in, like, a perpetual state of, like, scramble scenarios and, like, weird stuff. The way Plus R does. But the kind of game Plus R is, at, like, a competitive level, does not lend itself well to that. Because there are just some situations where you will not win. And it is not in anybody's control. Like, quite literally, it will not matter. And that's fine! But if you don't roll with that... Oh god. Like, I think the big hurdle is, like, characters like Zappa or Faust, where it's like... Sometimes you just get a bad hand. It happens. You just have to isolate it to like, oh, it's just that round. I still got however many more. And then, if it doesn't go your way for the set, it's just the game, right? But because Plus R exists in such a scrambly state, I think it is very bad to learn the game unless you like fuck with it. And like, if you're playing a character where you're not having fun every time you play, then you're just not gonna fuck with it. And so you'll be in that perpetual cycle of being kind of miserable. I fucking forgot about this guy. Look at this dude. I don't know though. The game is hard, and like it's old and kind of crusty and bad. But, like, it's in a way that I enjoy. I think to me the defining thing about Plus R is that it really forced me to get better at something that I've conventionally always been pretty bad at in fighting games. If you'd believe it, Hano. I feel like you would if I told you this, though. But would you believe that, like, before I played Plus R, I was just really fucking terrible at, like, scramble situations in fighting games? That was a really big weak spot for me. I was absolutely dog fucking shit at it. And I learned that from Undernight when I tried to play Seth. And that character kind of is all about picking up in those situations because you have to fluster your opponents with like your movement. Because you do not have the buttons as Seth and Undernight to actually poke out in that way. So you kind of have to just be ready to pick up from these weird ass hits. And I just never thought that was a skill that I liked. So I dropped Seth and played a different character in that game. But that was where I learned that I was really bad at that. And I don't really know if Plus R has made me that much better at it. I think it has a little. But I think it definitely forced me to improve at it. Is this guy gonna move? Like, man, oh man, was I bad at those. And playing to the flow of a match is also something I was really bad at. Because something I've learned playing Plus R is that a lot of kind of bad matchups at face value can actually be solved by letting your opponent do stuff. Instead of trying to stop them from playing. Which I think only makes sense once you've competed for a certain amount of time, but you really get it once you have. Because if you just keep trying to brute force your approach, nobody that plays any competitive game like Plus R. Exactly. But the other thing is that like nobody that competes in Plus R actually does absolutely everything. Even the best players of certain characters don't do everything their character can do. Because I think the game is just actually so deep that you can't. Especially if it's like Chip or Axel, or any characters of those types that have like a ton of moves. Not just strategies, but like many, many moves. I just don't think you're ever going to run into a player who does every single thing. So like, assuming, oh, because if the character does everything, I can't do anything, is really bad. Because nobody's gonna do that. Quite literally, nobody will do it. Maybe one day somebody will get like that tryhardy and sweaty, but I sincerely don't believe that that would be the case. Like, to me it is just unlikely. But like understanding things like, oh, your position, and like what your anti-airs are in a given situation, or like what your offense is. And that you don't even have to do offense, you can just kind of chill out and counter poke or anti-air and convert. You don't gotta force it. And that's something that playing Anji taught me really well, funny enough. But it works really well on characters like Cliff, where you're naturally hard to hit anyways. Also, being okay with being wrong. That's something that people struggle with too. That one I get though, because that one's hard to come to grips with. Because being wrong can be really punishing in Plus R sometimes, but also like you're not going to be right if you never send it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. But you definitely got to approach it with a really healthy mind, and you also just have to not care, I think. Like at this point I could actually go 0-2 at Frosty's and people would just say I had a bad run. And that would be the end of it. The odds of that are pretty low, but I could. But I don't really have anything to prove. That was actually why I really struggled to be motivated to enter the Frosties bracket, funny enough, this year. Because I just didn't feel like I was gonna show anybody anything I hadn't seen. In that way. Which is part of why I would enter a tournament, right? For me, anyway. Like, if I had a want to compete like that. But it was really fun, so I might enter next year. We'll see. I might also just try for commentary. Because I like commentating the game. But it would be pretty funny if we got 3 cliffs in top 8 instead of just 2, wouldn't you say? I would personally be super down to have a 3rd one. Because we had Izzy and I this year, but that's not enough for me. And if we can get 4 cliffs in top 8, even better. I want half of the top 8 to be cliffs. Just me personally, I think that would be fucking hilarious. Yeah, I agree. Not every character is built for brute forcing it. I think Cliff is also one of those, as I mentioned. I think you can, and you should sometimes as Cliff. But knowing when to sit back and chill as Cliff is really strong. Something that I've learned. And some days I struggle to exercise it all the time. But, you know, the nice thing is, in a tournament environment, you don't have to do it a lot. You've only got to win a couple of games, right? Yeah, exactly. You're kind of trying to go to the net. And then once you get to a position where they have to move at you, you're playing really from like a really strong spot. And it just so happens that that position tends to be the corner because they can't move backwards anymore. Because that's the only way they're escaping, is they're moving away from you. But once their back is to the wall, they have to move above you to get any more distance. Otherwise, they are just stuck next to you. And that is where the fun begins. Because it's like, how are they gonna either challenge me directly or move over me? Because they have to pick between doing one of the two. And if I'm right, they get put back in the corner and they might take fatal damage. I think that's pretty fun. Also, yeah, the trades is a really relevant thing. Like, the way 2S works is so fucked up. Like, Cliff almost forces you to tech in the air. You almost, like, need to. You're, like, funneled into it. Because you really can't just, like, land on the ground. Honestly... Hot! There is one Cliff player in particular who is convinced that matchup is really bad. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. But there's like a really big difference in how a lot of Cliff players play that match. And that's going to influence your opinion on it as a Cliffer. But I don't think pot is that bad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I get fucked up that bad. Maybe it's the hopium. It might be, but I genuinely feel like there's not really a Cliff matchup where I'm helpless. I feel worse playing Anji Soul than I do playing any fucking Cliff matchup. I actually think Anji Soul is worse than any matchup that Cliff has. Genuinely. Oh my fucking god, I hate that match. I hate it more than Anji Jam, I hate it more than Anji Mei, I hate it more than Anji Ha. I've come to the conclusion that I actually don't know what you're supposed to do. Do you like losing? I mean, yeah. But like, the minute you fight a Soul player that like, kinda understands it, it feels impossible. Like, fundamentally to me, right? The thing that I think really stems it to be just awful is, you've probably heard me talk about Anji before, where I talk about, like, the things that I think that make Anji good in matchups where he loses out on damage like Mei, is that because he can get Mei to guard, you can actually put Mei in a situation where she will take a lot of damage. But I think the major problem is that I actually don't think Anji has a way to force Soul to block ever. And like, the risk-reward for Soul swinging like a dumbass is like, so fucking good against Anji at all points. Like, if you just keep mashing like IBDP or IB2D as Soul, like Anji gets a punish. But, like, you will get way more damage out of that than Anji will. At any point in the match. And that to me, is what makes it really annoying. It doesn't really matter how aware I am to play around it, I can't discourage it. Meaningfully, anyway. That said, I think that's why Soul players hate the Cliff matchup so much, is because it's one of the only ones in the game where you can actually discourage Soul from mashing. But, like, with some substantial damage. Like, the other characters that can probably do it are, like, Potemkin, Testament. Characters of that type, where, like, you can either poison him. Middleist DP, no, but he puts you into Oki. And I think Soul Bad Guy Oki as Anji sucks dick. And none of your guard points matter. He just safe jumps all of it. And, the best part, your guard bar builds so fast that Soul Bad Guy doesn't even have to pressure you for very long before his damage goes from, like, some of the best in the game to, like, better. Fuck that guy, dude. With Anji, it's just impossible. I told Nova I found a way to make that matchup fun. And he asked, like, how? And I said, I'm just looking for ways that my fundamental tools fail to work. Because I think there's more ways in which Anji completely fails to function as a character in that match than the other way around. And so, like, finding new ways that Anji's moves can lose to, like, Soul Pressing Sweep is pretty fun. And how he can RPS every defensive option I have with the same choice, and I can't. Oh. Yippee, dude. And that's the big thing with Cliff. I don't feel like there's any matchup where that ever happens. But that also might be the result of Cliff having the highest damage in the game, right? Because at that point, the risk-reward is, like, never truly against you. At least in concept, right? I have had no luck trying to guard point Gunflame. Every time I try to success it, I'm like either too early or too late. And I feel like 6K doesn't move me forward enough into it crawling, but I have looked into it. Just 5D? Oh, bro. But he leans back! That's the problem! It's too good! He leans backwards! It is, but like... Gunflame also moves really slow. Honestly, for Gunflame, I think Anji deals with it really good with IAD JP. In fact, I think he has one of the best options to beat it in neutral outright if it's not FRC. Because he does have IAD JP, and it's pretty ridiculous. I think Anji is a very good character. I just think that matchup is ass cheeks. I think that matchup is worse than anything I've played as Cliff. No lie. No matter how bad people say Cliff Dizzy is, which I don't believe. Or how bad Cliff Axel or Justice is. I would rather play those than Anji Soul. Clusters? Clizzy? Ew. Ew, that sounds nasty to say. I think what you said about the Dizzy matchup is really funny and kind of true, though. Where it's like one of those matchups that started out feeling really horrible, and then like, it only kind of got better. Not worse. And part of me is like, are Dizzy players just not playing it properly? But I don't know. It has been so long since people have been playing Cliff commonly that I don't think that's true anymore. Like, the idea that this character could be being played a lot more for like 2 years now at this point, and people still don't like fundamentally understand him is not true to me, I don't think. Like, I just don't think that's physically possible. Even if I did my usual shtick of setting the bar low for North American fighting game players. Even though NA is my goat, are my goats. Like... Because the thing about Cliff Dizzy is that unironically, if you don't get hit like a jackass as Cliff, she's pretty scared of you. At least I think so. She better be anyways. Oh fuck, I forgot death is in this game. What the fuck? What? Oh. I'm in a safe state. Oh fuck. Did he kill me in his death animation or something? Oh, no he didn't. He just turned into... oh. freaking forgot about this phase. But yeah, you know, Cliff is pretty cool. You might get a DM from somebody, by the way, Hano. They're working on a video and it's talking about how a couple of characters changed after Plus R got rollback. And they are looking for like help with explaining how Cliff was perceived as a character before and after. And they asked me, and I said, well, I know a little bit, but I feel like you would know more because historically you've been in the community a lot longer than me. You've kind of been there when the opinion was different. Longer than I have. They're also looking for reasons that Cliff got better. Yeah, that's the big thing, is that, Abba's such a funny case, because it's like... I kinda get it. Thank you, by the way. I kinda hella get it with Abba. But like, to a degree, I'm also like, man... It's so hard to understand now. But that's the cool thing about games, I think. The fact that they change so much, and that perception can change, and that people can be wrong, I think is cool. I don't like making fun of people for having old opinions, outside of like joking around. Because if these games just stayed the same, they'd be fucking boring. Listen. Wait, okay, hold on. What's the Johnny 6P discourse? Is it like the fact that Johnny 6P is or isn't good? I have a very firm stance on this matter. I just think if you're gonna tell me Johnny 6P isn't cracked, you're crazy. There's no way. Oh, you know. I do think it has some flaws. I do think its proration hurts it a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. a lot of 6Ps aren't prorated the way Johnny's is, but also a lot of 6Ps are not as fast, as invincible, as low recovery as Johnny's. The proration makes sense if you think about it in the context of what it's doing, I think. Exactly, yeah, I agree. No, I don't disagree with you. Full disclosure. Well, it's also if you consider Johnny's level 2 damage, right? Even with that initial proration you put on it, if he has level 2, and you're like Milia and you get 6P'd by Johnny, you're eating like a shitload of damage. Even if he doesn't knock you down, you are fucking eating it. It's gonna hurt. Even at 80% proration, that is gonna hurt like hell. Like, Johnny's damage is fucking serious. You don't talk about that fucking shit enough. When Johnny hits you at level 2, you fucking die. You don't have to block anything. You can be guard bar 0 and that motherfucker does like 3 buttons and you lose like half your life. He hits like a fucking heavy. Dude does... Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why Suzume does so well. Because Suzume doesn't even focus on like looping unblockables a lot. He can sometimes. But like in his pressure, he doesn't even consider opening you up. All he wants to do is move your guard bar up high enough to where if he tags you with like an H button at level 2, you just lose. Or you're put into like a horrible situation. I think that's the really smart way to play the character. I think that's like the best way to play, or one of the best ways, because it's just like, yeah. Yeah, you have 3 jumps on Maxim. Oh, so Hano, this is a post-game playable character. This is Maxim. He is normally a boss in the game that you fight right before Dracula. And in the vein of these games, he is a playable character in the post-game Maxim mode. He's pretty broken. As you can see, he's very fast. Has a triple jump. He's got a dive kick. He's got a healing move. He's pretty much got it all, really. Castlevania, of course. Oh my god, I'm getting raided? Oh my god, I'm getting raided? Hi, Dove. How did TMN go? Who won? Who won? Tell me. Oh my god, I jumped. I actually jumped out of my chair. Where's that motherfucker? Hey. He didn't DM me. Oh, he reset? Oh. I better tell him. Where is he? Where is this? Oh fuck, here we are. Played 10. Holy shit! He run the whole thing from losers? That's wow. We did do the thing. So Vegan and I joked about this, but he said whenever he goes to play in TNN, he wants to play with me on that same day. Because the TNN that he won before this one, we had played a set beforehand. And I was like, yeah, I'll warm you up. And then the last time we played like a 3-hour set. And he said I wasn't super happy with my performance. So I said, you know what? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a shorter set like we did the one you won. Because maybe when him and I played for like 3 or 4 hours that day, it like burnt him out. So I said today we'll play for like an hour, right? Not too long, just long enough to warm you up and get your brain working about the game. And it looks like it worked. That's just the T5 difference. I'm really proud of him though. I'm glad he fucking won. I want more Enos? Oh, word. Oh my god. All at once? Too powerful. That's what I'm saying, Hano! That's real as fuck! Rest in peace, by the way. Once again, my goat Akira Toriyama. Okay, have I fought every boss now? Oh wait, no, I'm missing one. Once I beat this game, I'm probably gonna end. Because Maxim Mode ended up taking me longer than I thought it would. That's okay. I'm very proud of V-Game. I think I would like Dragon's Dogma 2, actually. Unlike Nier, I think I would enjoy playing it. Dragon's Dogma 2 I might like once it's patched. You know, when it runs. I'm sorry, bro, they put 2B in everything. Oh wait, Nier Automata just sucks? That's interesting. Hold on. Is it different? I guess it must be. Now there is one boss I haven't fought. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what the hell those portal rooms are, Hano, there's 2 castles in this game. Because they wanted to make this game like Symphony of the Night, but they couldn't do the upside down castle. So, you know, 2 castles. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. It's only marginally better. That is pretty disappointing because, you know, man, Platinum Games, dude. I feel like Bayonetta 3 was just like so many L's. So sad. Everybody used to gas them up. What happened? Yeah, Nier Automata has like a really fucking beautiful world. I will say this, like whenever I look at that game, I think like the world design and like the music and the art is phenomenal. Inspiring, moving, and powerful. And then people are like, yeah, you gotta beat it like 7 times. And I'm like, okay, no thanks.
I grow even stronger.
Bye. I don't care that much. That's Good for you, I guess. That ain't me though. Not built like that. But I do love the look of the game. And the music and like everything else about it. Could do without the gooners. Even though the gooning is completely understandable. Like, I get it. But my ass is sitting about to be like, yeah, I condone it. The exact same kind of shit that we're gonna be seeing with Stellar Blade. In like a couple weeks now, right? It's coming up pretty soon. Bro, I'm gonna be real. Yeah, it does kind of suck, right? When like something you like just like invites the kind of people that make you want to throw up in your own mouth, right? You're just like, man, I wish these people would not be in my hobby, and they are. Like the realest shit ever. Oh yeah, I do gotta fight this guy. Look at him! Spooky evil face! I mean, gooning is none of my business. Frankly, if you're one of those people, you probably don't talk about it like you do it all the time, you know? But you don't fucking... Honestly, I don't have to explain anything. I think you understand what I mean intrinsically. But the minute anybody says ruining gaming, no matter what they're talking about, I like blank that out in my mind, you know? Whatever you're saying does not matter to me anymore. Very cool that you think that way though, but I don't give a shit. I have far bigger problems to worry about in my life. I do not have the time to get mad over trans people being like humans. That's what I'm saying! It's okay though, I don't know how long any of us are gonna be above the poverty lines. I'm just gonna try and enjoy things as much as I can before I fucking inevitably die. Young. Because of the economy. I'll do my best to make the world better while I'm around. And have a good time. No point in being all downtrodden, right? If I have time to do that, I have time to try and make things better. Even in little ways. Okay, I think I've done every boss. I just have to think about the fastest way up to the final boss. And then for fun, we'll watch the tasks of this game. You know how fast the task is for this game, Hana? You're gonna love this. This game has one of the fastest tasks that I know of for a game of this size. which is saying something because Symphony of the Night task is not a slow task. What? What? This enemy's hitbox is mysterious. You see all that? Kind of nice not having to care about these goofy ass doors. Okay. So we want this one, do we not? Nope. Next one. Nope. This one? Yeah. Oh, but man, Hano, I am really sad that you missed my plus R... my full, plus R, breakdown on why I think Potemkin is kind of a stonks going down character. Did I miss a boss? Hold on. Unfortunately. Even though I think Pot is still good, I think, that character has so many dead ends in a theoretical bracket. Ugh, what am I missing? I fought the Minotaur. Oh, I don't think I fought that guy. I think that's the last one, though. Oh, I just mean more than that. I think, the problem with Pot is that a lot of his, like, matchups that have theoretical endpoints that are not good for him, which is like Dizzy, Amelia, Zappa, that kind of thing. I think those just become increasingly more common in bracket, to the point where, like, your run can get bricked very easily, because those are matchups that do not have a lot of fluidity in how you can counterplay those characters. And, like, and I said this, I don't feel that way when I'm playing Cliff, being, like, real as fuck about it. I don't think you run into matchups like that on Cliff. Which I think is a big deal. I think that's what separates really strong characters in Plus R from, like, good characters. This is Castle B, isn't it? Yeah, it is. We want to use Castle A for this guy? Yeah, it is. Okay. Like, I think being able to not have to worry about having your run bricked like that is what makes you good. That's, like, the cutoff point for, like, really strong, and not just good. That's a better word. In that way, Potemkin, yeah. Like, for as bad as I say Anji Soul is, and it is, I would probably still rather play that than, like, Potemkin Zappa, Pot Faust, or Pot Testament. Because that's another matchup that isn't getting better. That only gets worse. Oh, that one looks really bad. Every time I see it, it just somehow finds a way to look worse. It's impressive, really. You'd think I'd be desensitized to, like, Naj clip of him infiniting a Potemkin for that, what, like, umpteenth time? But I never am. And every time I'm just like, wow. It certainly hasn't gotten better for them, has it? And the answer was always no. So my only fucking conclusion can be that this character is going to have a very difficult future. If they don't already have what you would call a difficult future. I think it's already pretty hard. However, that does not mean Potemkin isn't annoying. But it does mean that I think I can separate that from how good I think he is. As a responsible opinion haver. Faust beating Hammerfall with 2K is really fucking funny though. You are correct. I think that is really goddamn hilarious. And depressing, all at once. It's like... Oh, I love this. Ooh, shit! The bigger one. I like to beat this boss, you just fucking break his legs. I gotta admit, that's pretty funny. It's like, destroy this dude's ankle. Milia Potemkin is another matchup where whenever I watch it, I'm just like, oh my god. Or Dizzy. I think Dizzy might, like honestly, is probably worse. Dizzy makes the fact that Pot's backdash has a last grounded frame just like worse for him. In like every way possible. It's pretty fucking funny. Oh yeah, you play Testament. You probably hate that fucking character. That's a matchup of mutual hatred. I have never seen a Testament player or a Dizzy player admit that they like the other character. I don't think it's true. There's definitely like a shared killing intent going on in that matchup. Which, to me, I find very funny. And what? Did I miss a boss? There's no way. Oh, I did. Oh, Al, are you gonna tell me you don't hate the character? There's no way. Be honest. Do you like how that character is? I don't mind Dizzy, which is pretty funny. But how do you feel about it? Cause see, I don't mind Dizzy because I guess you probably wouldn't mind too much either because you have the same throw range as Cliff, which is high. I think if your character has a certain throw range against Dizzy, they have an easier time. Because hers is a little higher than Cliff's and Testament's, but it's by like 3 pixels, so she can never really space around that. Which is to say, if you can counter-throw the character, you can win. A little easier, I think. Just something, I don't think I can say for every character. But at least for mine. And yours, I suppose. Okay. So I have to go back up to the sky walkway and fight one more boss. And then we're good. Over here, I believe. She def gets annoying, but I can tolerate it. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you had a training partner for long enough. But Dizzy Testament from when I was learning Testament, if you believe it. Maybe you would, actually. But when I played that matchup, it just felt like a scam matchup. There's so many little things about it that made it feel that way. Like FB Skull hitting fish and cursing Dizzy. Warren. Her complete inability to get out of most of your setups. Once they're really like ironclad. But then on the flip side, if she ever hits you and knocks you down, it's like, well, okay. I'll block, I guess, and try to counter throw if I can. But you're just so tall. And then she does IAD J2S in neutral, you fucking cry. I think the thing with Cliff that makes Dizzy a lot more manageable on that front is that she can't actually hit Cliff with IAD J2S, it always lives. I did not realize just how good that was until I played like any other character into Dizzy. But I understood right after that happened, I was like, oh man, I get it now. It's nice to not have to think about that. Oh. The Cliff privilege. Which is a very real thing. Oh, it's fucking great, bro. You'll never hear me arguing against it. It's so fucking awesome, dude. It is kind of funny how Cliff players have gotten really infamous for just saying my life fucking rocks, which is so great. I think that's way better than like Copers. I'm pretty glad. It does mean that people go, wow, you must be having more fun than everybody else, too. And I go, yeah, probably. That's the real thing about Cliff to me. He's just so fun. I don't think there's any other character in any other fighting game I've ever played like him. And I think that's really cool. I think you could make, like, arguments for characters that are a little adjacent in some ways. But truly functionally similar? No. And I really like that. Because I wouldn't want to play Cliff in every game or whatever. Because, like, in my eyes, part of what makes Cliff so special is that there's only one of them, you know? And it's this weird, definitely unfinished and very, very unpolished concept. But I love the vision. The execution was definitely not the best. but I love the vision. And it's obviously just because, like, every other character in Plus R besides Justice had, like, way more games to get, like, you know, built and polished up. But, okay, am I missing one? Oh, I think I am. I think I'm missing the first Minotaur, which is funny. But, like, Cliff and Justice are both, like, extremely unfinished compared to everybody else. And that's fine, because, you know, it's the first iteration of those characters, really. So it makes perfect sense that they're just, like, not as polished as, you know, Anji or fucking Kai or whatever. Like, it makes perfect sense. Also, Testament's definitely a pretty complete character, I'd say. They're pretty fucked up, but they're pretty complete. I enjoy them. There are, like, maybe, at most, a handful of things about that character I don't like, but they're pretty small, I don't really care that much. They're pretty fun to overcome, and they're pretty interesting to play. So, I think they do their job for me. I have not had a problem with Testament. I can see why somebody would. I get it. But it could also be the fact that everybody that I've met that plays the character is pretty cool. I don't really care. That and Testament was not considered to be super cracked or everything when the game was brand new. Alright. Okay. Here we go, baby! Final boss time! Fucking finally, it's about time, huh? I do not think it matters what castle we do it in, either. Alright, here we go. All these candles I can't break. Just kidding. And that's Maxim Mode, everybody! Anyways, who wants to see the task? Who wants to see the fucking task for this game? It's gonna take 2 seconds. Are you ready? Okay. We can actually do this well before the stream ends. You ready? Here we go. Here he goes. There you go. That's it. Like even the speed run. "31 seconds. Anywho, go ahead and raid in my buddy Boix. He's playing FF7. That's a good game. All right. Have a good night, everybody.